this here.
Christian. That's right.
Yeah, I guess go ahead and introduce yourself as well. Or are we...
What happened, Nick?
So hey guys, this is Nick from Nico Nomad. And as Christian just said, we're going to be talking today about how much money you need to travel, what we've done, how much money we had when we started off, and how we actually make our living and how you could also make your living while traveling abroad. Because a lot of times in travel videos, you'll see people make it out to be the grand experience of everything is great and travel is easy. And truthfully, there's been a lot of ups and downs with traveling and trying to make money. There's been some low points. So that's what we're going to be going over today, is actually talking about how to make that a possibility.
Yeah, because I don't think there is a one-way route to really making your money while you travel. Especially when you break to ground zero and you have nothing, you have to find whatever is possible around you to make it work. So we're going to talk about all these experiences. But before we do talk about that, we want to let you guys know, even though we've gone through some good and bad things, we don't regret traveling or taking the leap.
No.
And even if you don't have a lot of money saved at the moment, it's still possible. And don't let that don't let that, what the fuck is the word?
A deterrent?
Yes. Don't let that deter you from traveling, because if you have $1,000 or you have $50,000, it's possible. It's really up to you and your mindset and how smart you are with your money.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't start off with too much money when I started traveling.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about that. So when you started traveling, where were you and how much money did you have before you started taking the leap?
So when I first started traveling, I had just graduated from university. I just finished my bachelor's in landscape architecture, and I'd only saved up money for about 2.5 months before leaving for Australia.
Wow.
And I was lucky enough. I got a little bit of money from family for Christmas, because it was around December time. I left in around February.
Okay.
So I got a little bit of money from family, but when I left, I had about $4,000.
Wow.
$4,000 about. And so I went to Australia not knowing about really backpacking in general.
Right. Yeah.
And and Australia is not the cheapest place.
No. Not at all. It's not like Vietnam, where it would last you at least 3 months.
Yeah. So my savviness on how to budget travel was definitely not there.
Right. Yeah.
So I hit that 0 point, and actually in the negatives real soon.
In Australia?
No, so I stayed in Australia for 2 months, or a month and a half, and then I went to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And I traveled around for about 5 to 6 weeks.
So when you went to Southeast Asia, how much money did you have then?
I had about maybe two and a half thousand.
Yeah.
And then I hit zero when I was in Thailand.
And so what was going through your mind during that time? Where you're like, it's fine, I'll find something quick?
Well, the thing is that, one, I had a credit card, so I could actually go in the negatives if I needed to, which, trust me, guys, don't go in the negatives too much on a credit card. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, of course.
But luckily, because I had the working holiday visa in Australia, finding jobs in Australia is very easy. So I flew back to Australia to work immedately.
That's smart.
Yeah. And so the first things I did traveling was working in countries like Australia, which are expensive but have really higher pay.
Yeah.
And so I worked as a landscaper and worked on construction sites.
Right.
And it paid decently. It paid quite well. So I got out of the negative. I paid for my debts within a month of working.
Right.
And then I started saving up. So
great. Okay. So that's how you managed to get out of your first
my first pickle. We'll say.
Okay. Cool. But let's talk about recently, because I think now you go to one country and you have to kind of stay there. You can't jump around. And a lot of people that are, you were fortunate enough to be American, but for example, me, I wouldn't be able to go to Australia and get a job. So let's talk about making money online, because at the end of the day, if you want to travel, you can go work somewhere and stay there, but that's not the real traveling experience that people are looking for.
Yeah.
Which are the ways on how you have made money either online or on the spot when you had to make it work?
There's so online is something I've been doing just recently. And I've had some successes and some more failures, right?
More failures, because you have to test everything. I've tested everything, bro. Drop shipping, trying to do affiliate marketing, social media management, YouTube, Instagram, trying to make money through making videos and content. And I mean, fairly enough, all of them have worked, but to an extent. I haven't been actually making a living off of it, but it worked. You can make money, you can make sense, you can make dollars, but which are the ones that have worked in your opinion?
So online, truthfully, I haven't found like a sustainable way to make money online actually. So this is one of the reasons I'm in Vietnam at the moment, is because I wanted to come to Vietnam and start my personal training business.
Right.
And I soon realized that trying to go online with this wasn't really, it's possible, but it's very difficult.
Right.
The online sphere with personal training is very saturated, so it's very difficult. I was successful in getting clients here in Vietnam, but online was very, very difficult.
Did you manage to get anyone, or?
Online, but it was more like friends, family, and things like that, right? I tried making content, fitness content, and what ended up happening, as I told you before, is my vlog, travel style stuff was doing a whole lot better, like unbelievably better than fitness stuff was.
Yeah, exactly right.
And so I've been practicing with a bunch of different things, and now I'm trying to, as I told you now, is try to move on to UX design. And that's something that is in high demand. It can be done remotely, online, and you can make decent money off of it. So,
so this is one of the projects that you're working on right now.
I'm working on currently, and truthfully, like I wouldn't have been able to do this without the help of my parents. So I just want to be really authentic to our viewers here, is that just because some of us travel, sometimes we need help from others, right?
Right.
And Vietnam is a very cheap country, and so I've been more or less making ends meet. But there have been times where I actually needed some help, right?
Right. And I think it happens to all of us. I think any travel vlogger out there has gone through this as well. They might not speak about it or talk about it, but they've gone through it before they get to the top.
So with all this being said, so the way that I was making money in the past, being able to support myself and my travels, was essentially working as I said, doing landscaping or construction work, either in Australia or New Zealand when I was there. I worked an office job when I was in Germany for a year.
Right. Yeah. So you did a lot of jobs that you have to be face to face kind of thing. Have you done any of that here in Vietnam?
So Vietnam, not really. So I did do, as I said, like personal training, and I had clients here in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Just expats here, right?
Yeah.
And so that's essentially what I've been doing here.
And how did you find your clients?
Actually, that's an interesting question. I actually started with Facebook ads.
Oh, you did Facebook ads.
Yeah, I started Facebook ads, and I targeted like certain demographics. So essentially expats living in Vietnam within the area, right?
Right.
And that's how I got my first few clients, and that's how I started it off, right?
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. Like if you guys have a skill or something that you can do, one of the ways to make money while you're traveling is offering a service you can do Facebook ads, which is great. I never thought about that.
It's a good way to kickstart. It's kind of expensive. But depending on the services that you're going to provide, if they're services that pay quite high compared to, you can get those first few clients and start making some money that way.
And because running ads, especially for fitness, can be taunting, I would say, because you don't know what works or what doesn't work. What worked for you? Was it the description? Was it the video? Was it a picture? Which of the best ad performed well for you to get some type of clients?
That's a good question. Like, so I changed it depending on the age of the clients.
Right. So you were specific with your ads.
Yeah. So there were different ads that I would have for, there's different ages where people, maybe the younger crowd would want to, they're more focused on aesthetics.
Right. Okay.
Whereas an older crowd might be more focused on general health. And so you're going to...
So which were the clients that you were able to find? Were they younger? Were they older?
Both.
That's great.
So I found a bit of both, and it worked out.
And how much would you charge?
So here, I would charge about $180, $3 sessions a week for 1 month.
Okay.
So that's actually quite cheap for personal trainers.
Right.
Back in the West, at
right,
least.
Right. Yeah. No, but here it's good.
Yeah, it goes quite a bit of ways. Off of $800 to $1,000, you can live off of here in Vietnam.
That's all you need.
Very, very, very comfortably.
I agree.
So.
Wow. And then you also tried Live It, right? Because it's something that I've tried, which is live streaming.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Which is it's a way to make money online, and actually it's really decent. You just have to live stream for 40 hours.
40 hours
for the month.
There's 40 hours a month, and so it's definitely not for everyone.
No, definitely.
And you have to be good at doing live streaming. So I did it for a month. It was fun, but to me it was just taking up too much of what I thought was my time, right?
Yeah.
But so you have to put on a performance, and it was very fun. I love live streaming. There's a deeper connection to the people because they're watching you live. They're able to ask you questions.
That's
and
right.
so but it is also putting on a performance.
It is, yeah.
And so that can be tiring if you're doing it 2 hours a day, 5-6 days of the week.
Yeah.
And sometimes longer.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Off of you. Okay, cool. So that's another way that you've made money.
Yeah.
Any other way that you've made money?
Yeah, so the main way I've made money is, as I said, just doing landscaping, construction.
Right.
And then there was a bit of time. The company I was working for in Germany, they were a company that did decorations for the cruise line industry.
Right.
So for 3 or 4 months, I would just work on some of the cruise ships that were just wherever in the world.
Right.
I mean, they supplied their decorations to the majority of cruise ships around the world. So I would get sent to the Bahamas and work on a cruise ship for about a week and a half, then get sent to Germany.
How did you find this job?
So this was just the job that I had while I was in Germany. I worked in the office as design and project management, actually.
Okay.
And then afterwards, when I started traveling, they were like, hey, well, if you're going to be traveling, you're going to be in the States, why don't you help us on the ships in the Bahamas, because you worked on those ships, you know them. So I just did that, and I have experience in construction, so they just sent me off on the ships. It paid quite well, and so that helped me for at least 6 months, 3 months of working on and off.
Right.
Helped me for 6 months to travel around, even through Europe, through France and Spain. I had enough money to travel around those places.
That's great.
And it's not super cheap. It's not like Vietnam.
No, not at all.
So that was a way that I worked in the past. It was kind of contract work, and doing physical labor. And now I'm trying to transition more to the remote, online
stuff.
Type of jobs. And it's not necessarily the easiest thing to get into.
No, because there's so many routes, and then you start doing one thing, and then you realize that okay, if I want to do this, it's gonna take months and weeks and years.
Yeah,
to
it's not something that just
No, it's not unless you want to teach English. Have you tried to teach English on the internet?
So no,
Okay.
and this is definitely I just don't think it's for me. And that is definitely a very good route.
Yeah, because anyone that here can perfectly speak English, like me or him, or even less, can get a job here in Vietnam, and I've heard they pay minimum $15 an hour or more. People easy get paid $20 an hour doing that.
Yeah,
and if you're getting paid that here in Vietnam, you're living a great lifestyle and you're able to save money.
Yeah.
So I think one good way for people to start if they want to make money while they travel is being an English teacher, because the opportunities are everywhere in Asia. You can teach English, Thailand, Vietnam, literally anywhere. Or if you also want to teach English, I've heard like in places, I'm sure in the Middle East or anywhere in Europe, you can be an English teacher anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that teaching English is actually a very good way to travel if you want to, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who've been teaching English for years, and that's allowed them to travel all over the world.
Yeah, they go to Japan, they go to China, they go anywhere, and they find a job in an instant.
And a lot of times, like, you can get contracts for like a year or so.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, they'll pay for housing, they'll pay for your plane tickets over. Pay is not bad. They'll even give you stipends. Like, a lot of these jobs actually pay quite well, and I've known
Really
people
well.
put a decent amount of money aside, especially because a lot of these countries are a lot cheaper than they are in Europe or in the U.S.
Exactly. So that's one way.
No, absolutely.
Obviously, you have to show up for work and you have to do the same thing, but a lot of the people that are out here doing that, they are so happy. And then on their 3 or 4 days off, they go and travel somewhere.
Yeah.
And they have a good time and they get to experience new things. So
exactly.
even if you don't have any money saved up, there is no excuse not to travel, because that opportunity is available if you want to become an English teacher. And here, sometimes they don't even ask you for a diploma or any bachelor degree or TOEFL or any of that certificate. You can actually get a job just being able to speak English. And if you have American passport or a Western passport, you're good.
Yeah, that is a caveat for a lot of the English teaching. If you're from an English-speaking country,
that's right. That's it.
If you're from like the UK or the US, Australia, you definitely
you have priorities.
You have more privilege because of that, because they're searching for people who have that kind of neutral accent. And even if you have neutral accent and you're from a different country, still
you're still good. You're still good to go. Yeah. That's right.
But a lot of times there is a little bit of prejudice with that. Even people who are from other countries who speak impeccable English,
they still talk them down a bit, or not talk them down, but they don't get the same opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
But either way, like, maybe you'll get paid $2 less, but you're still making $16, $17 an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And paying for a $1 meal, which
which is
I'd much rather get paid $15 and pay for $1 for my meal than to get paid $20 and have to pay $7 for my meal.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Dude, great. In my experience, my streams of income right now, one of my main streams of income is I run the social media. I have a social media management agency, so I do social media for real estate agencies in Australia, and that income is between like $200 to $300 a week. So just with that, I can live.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Vietnam, I can live anywhere. But the concern is, and I think a lot of this, the stuff that goes through my mind when I'm traveling to when I lived in a first world country, is I'm not saving money aside for my pension like I used to. You know, when you work in a first world country, you get your paycheck and your pension is taken out, and then 6-7 years later you're like, oh shit, I got $20,000 in pensions there saved. That's something that I think about often, because I'm kind of living paycheck after paycheck. But if you're smart and you save $50 a week aside, I don't know, invested in Bitcoin, invested in whatever you want to invest in, I think in the long term that would help. Another thing that I've done to make money on the internet is obviously these videos.
Absolutely.
So I've made money through Facebook when the videos go crazy viral, but the chances of a video going viral now on Facebook, and if you're just getting started, are very minimal. So if you start doing content creation or doing videos, treat it as a hobby. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's something you do for fun because you enjoy it.
That's right. You don't expect to make money from making videos.
No.
I think if you do, you're really good, you're talented, and you're lucky, because I think those three things go to play. And it takes a lot of time to get good at it, to understand the equipment, to understand what works. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely.
But I definitely made money from my videos, and most importantly from affiliate marketing on my YouTube channel. So a lot of the videos, if you guys watch my videos now. Before they were in Spanish, so I would talk a lot about how to migrate to Australia, how to make money in Australia as an immigrant, how to find a job, how to be stable in that country. And so I had affiliate marketing with an agency that would bring people from South America or any Spanish-speaking countries into Australia. So I would make a commission from the people that would go through this agency. But because now the coronavirus stuff is happening, I don't make any money, and then so that gets lost. But that's one of the ways that I've made money. So if you start doing content creation, do it because you love it and because you like it, but also think, what do you use, or what can your audience benefit from that you can offer to them, that you can make some little bit of income from.
Yeah.
It can be your GoPro, you know, I have affiliate links as well of Amazon and all that kind of stuff. So it can be a bag that you're wearing every day and you really, really like this bag. So you say, guys, look, this bag is great. This bag is awesome. I've been using it for I don't know how long. And you explain the benefits of the bag. And if someone resonates with that and they click on the link, you'll make some money from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it happens ever so often when it comes to items like a camera or a bag.
Yeah.
What else? Video editing. So I've tried. I've also done UpWork. Have you heard of UpWork?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Have you tried UpWork?
I haven't, but I almost did. I was almost going to do some translation work through UpWork, but I never did.
Yeah.
But that's definitely, for you guys, UpWork is definitely a good way to find jobs on the go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
UpWork is good. Fiverr is good. Skillwork is good. But with these kind of things, my best advice is to start it before you leave. Don't travel and have a good time and then get to zero like we have and then start trying to go up on work, you know?
No, definitely not. Like, that works for some of the jobs I did where it's like physical labor and they don't have enough. There's a surplus of work and not enough workers and it's like, oh, come on, you know, you get hired the next day. Whereas UpWork, and essentially what you're talking about, what you've been doing is something that takes time.
Takes a lot of time to do.
It's not something that you just do right overnight. And you've done a really good job at diversifying your income streams, it seems like.
That's really it, man. Like I have diversified my income streams and I don't depend on one thing. Yeah. Which is, I think, the most important. So I've done UpWork. I'm still on UpWork. I haven't really done a job in the last month and a half, but I've gotten editing jobs there as a video editor, and they pay. I edited a job for a guy that wanted his daughters to make a baking YouTube channel, so I edited a YouTube video of his daughters baking a cake. Just had it to, cut it up, add music, sound effects, you know, fix the audio a bit, color graded. It took me maybe like 10 hours to edit, but from that I made $100. So it's $100, which here in Vietnam goes a long way. You know, if you edit two of these videos a week, like with $200, you can live in Vietnam. So UpWork is a good way, but you definitely have to have a skill. And at the beginning, it's very tough to get a job, because if you go on UpWork, you create your own profile, and you don't have any reviews, or you don't have anyone that has you've done work for. It shows up on there, so people are very hesitant to pick you. But as soon as they pick you, and then you do a good job, make sure you do a good job at the beginning. That's for sure. Even though you don't get paid a lot, make sure you do a good job so you can build up your reviews, and then you'll start getting a little bit more work, and it's a lot easier to get jobs. But definitely, if you're ever stuck somewhere, UpWork is a good way, as you said, either as a translator, as a video editor, but it takes time. It takes time to do.
No, it does. It's not something that you're going to do just, you know, within like a week or two or even a month, really. I think it's something that takes, like you said, it takes a little bit of time to build up your portfolio, right?
Exactly. And have a skill, guys. Especially if you really want to do this traveling stuff, you have to have some type of good computer skill, I think. Something that you creating websites, editing videos, editing pictures, but everything's just getting a little bit more competitive.
Sure. Absolutely. And in the future, actually, as I said, I'm studying UX design at the moment. So if that becomes something I actually end up doing in the future, I'd love to actually catch up with you guys and let you know how that works. Because in the tech industry, that's something that's worked well for a lot of my friends who do coding or who do UI. user interface
Right.
design, they make good money off of those things,
Right.
and so
Yeah, I don't know much about that. Maybe you know more about that and you could shine some light.
yeah.
But
I'm
yeah.
starting to learn. I'm not
Yeah,
there yet.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting there, but
there's but big tech companies are more than willing to spend a lot of money on that.
oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, people are realizing that tech is where it's going at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Putting money into user experience and realizing that actually pushes the success of products and things like that. So, if you're interested in tech, it is definitely a good way to make income remotely and to essentially fund your travels and more.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Talking
Okay.
about
Well,
saving money. So
yeah, follow Nick. You'll be talking about that on your channel in the future, hopefully.
absolutely.
Yeah. See how that
I'll
goes.
be going through kind of that transition that I'm going through at the moment and kind of shedding some light on the tech industry.
Right.
As of right now, my knowledge base is very low. So
Yeah, no, it's okay. That's what we do. And
Yeah.
that's something that you have to do when you're traveling, is just test everything.
Yeah.
Test everything. And the reality is that 80% or 90% of things will fail. Like, and there's nothing wrong with picking up something, putting a lot of effort into it, and it not working and just letting it go.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten really good at that. Just moving on because that's a good thing about traveling. I think the more you travel, the more you move, the more you realize that it's okay to leave things behind.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a time and place to hang on to something because you're really like passionate and you're like, I just want to put more time and energy into it.
Yeah.
And there's another time when you're like, you know what, this isn't really going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the personal training, like I still love it. I'll still do it on the side just to make a little bit of money, but it's not going to be my bread and butter.
No.
I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to build up this like fitness empire and I'm going to build this app and I'm going to do all this stuff and like it just didn't work out. And that's okay. You find out like that's not for you.
No.
And that's like you said, traveling essentially gets you out of your comfort zone and it allows you to be okay with that. You know, things constantly change.
Yep. Another way that I don't make money from, but I've saved money, because another thing that I try to do is, instead, if I'm not making money, how can I save my money, right?
Yep.
So a lot of stuff that I was doing before this coronavirus, and while I'm traveling, is reaching out to hotels and offering a video or to show them on my YouTube channel or my Instagram in exchange for free accommodation. And I did this with 3 hotels here in Vietnam, and it went really well. They would let me stay. Most of the time, they'll be like, okay, we'll give you 3 nights. Okay, cool, I'll make you a video. And I will make a really nice video, and they really like it because it's so interesting. Sometimes when you try to reach out to people, and I do this as well, they have a guard, right? But as soon as you get to meet them, you interact with them, they see what you're doing, they see the effort that you're putting into it, then shit changes.
Yeah.
And then they become really friendly, really nice, and then you make a really nice video, and they're usually really happy or they're not happy at all. That's when it comes to videos, it's like they're not happy or they're happy.
Yeah. There's usually not much of it in between. Is
Yeah,
there?
they're never like, oh, that's what it is. And so most of the time they're happy because you want to target as well the hotels that you see have bad pictures, have bad videos that you can easily overcome, because sometimes there's hotels that have a great video, like, oh, how am I gonna compete against this?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
they're-
Like people with drone shots and stuff like that. Like you're not gonna try to make a video for the Marriott. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
no. You go, you do your research and you do the numbers and you try to talk to as many people. And then as soon as you make a good video for these people, half of the time they've been like, no, stay longer, and they'll let me stay for a week, 2 weeks. The most I've stayed was 2 weeks and a half. And I made 3 TikTok videos and 2 videos for this hotel. And it's fun because it's content for me and it's content for them.
Yeah,
And I get to
absolutely.
stay there. And not only that, but the people that you get to meet through these interactions lead you to other hotels, because if there is a hotel here and the hotel owner lives there, most likely they know the other hotel owners around the area. So then they're like, oh, we saw that video. Who made that video from you? Oh, Cristian made that video from you.
Yeah.
So I stayed in these 3 different hotels just because that person knew this other person, and this person knew this other person, and I just continued getting referred to. But then the lockdown happened and that kind of broke off, and I haven't really invested my time in try to email and contact other hotels. But that's another way that you can get free accommodation, which would be your biggest expensive in Vietnam.
Absolutely. That is definitely something I should probably be working
You should
on
think
a little
about
bit
it.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, bro. Yeah, and before, when I was doing this was about like 8 months ago, and I had no TikTok followers back then. My YouTube channel was half the audience, and Instagram was about the same. But it wasn't even about my following. It was more about the videos that I had in the past that I've made for real estate agents in Australia. I showed that to them, and they were happy with that. So you do have to have the type of portfolio. But at the end of the day, it's just really targeting and emailing people and putting in the work to get someone to say yes.
Yeah.
Not really about the equipment or the quality of video that you have to offer.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because a lot of hotels out there don't even have a video, so any video would be better than no video.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And a lot of them will be more than happy for you to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's another way that I've made money through traveling, or save my money.
And one other thing I was actually going to think about, you were talking a little bit about crypto, and we were talking about investments.
Right.
And so I started dabbling with investments the beginning of last year. And you said you've been doing it. Like, can you take us through a little bit of like what you've done, like with crypto and investments? I know it's a hot topic right now. So
Yep. So I've lost money and I've made money with crypto.
Okay.
And what I've taken from it is I've tried to day trade crypto. I've tried a long-term trade crypto, and the best thing you can do is buy crypto and leave it there. Because so what I do now is if I make, I don't know, $200 or $300 a week, I'm like, you know what, $50 of this, it's okay. I'm not gonna use it again. I'm just gonna invest it in crypto. So what I do is I do $20, $25 in crypto, and I leave it there.
Yeah.
Because something that I've studied and I've followed is that if you invested in crypto 5 years ago, you've made money.
Oh.
You know, crypto goes up and down, but it hasn't gone all the way down to where it started. So as long as you invest something today and you don't take it out in a year, you're winning.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it. I see it in the long term, because I've wasted too much time following the graphs, following the charts, reading when it goes up, when it goes down, and try to make that little short-term money. But it's very difficult to read, and it's gambling. It's really gambling.
That is. And so I haven't invested in crypto, but I've done investments like in the stock.
Right.
You know, just stocks.
I think it's very similar.
And my successes in it is just longing. You just buy stock and you let it sit.
Yeah,
That's your best bet, because I have a lot of friends who try to short, do options, and unfortunately, if you don't really know what you're doing and you're not hedging your funds, which I don't know enough about, so I definitely won't be talking about that.
Yeah.
You end up always losing money.
Always. Mm-hmm.
I was really lucky, and I was traveling around New Zealand before coming to Vietnam, and I had sold my van, so I had a couple $1,000s saved up. And so I decided to invest in stocks. And this was right when COVID hit, right?
What broker did you use to?
I went through TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know if you remember, but stocks were just like, just hit all-time lows when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this would be an awesome time. And I invested, and I got at least 2 times out of what I invested.
When it came back up.
Yeah, when it came back up. And I've made over 200% on the returns. Now, with that being said, like, it's not like I put 50K in and I'm like, you know, all right, I put like 3K in, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a ton of money to throw in there, but it's good. It's good. And definitely investments, if you got money and you're traveling around and you got a little extra money, throwing that into crypto or stocks.
But always make sure that whatever you throw in, you're willing to lose, because that is the way it works. I think you got really lucky in that sense. Because
But the thing is, like, also the one thing with stocks as well is that you have kind of these penny stocks and things like that, and then you have stocks that are going to do well, right? Consistently. Apple, Google, Microsoft.
Right.
It is very unlikely that one of those companies are going to go bust, you know? And so those are the ones that I mainly invested in when I started, because they were also very low because of COVID, and then they just went back up. So whenever you invest in whenever you're doing stocks or any other type of investment, putting money, like one, if it's something that's a little more volatile, if you're putting money in, don't expect to get a lot of money out of it, right? But if you're doing something that's on the long term, like some of these companies that are a little more stable, long term, if you hold it there, you're going to make money off of it.
Right, exactly.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Another way, obviously, that I've seen is just volunteering. Volunteer
absolutely.
work.
Absolutely.
You don't make money, but you'll get free meals, free accommodation. And there's always ways to continue traveling. Even if you don't have any money, you can go to your nearest hostel, knock on hostel doors, and be like, listen, I'm willing to be a receptionist, help around, be a cleaner in exchange for free accommodation, and a lot of them would say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I've actually done the volunteering thing before, and for the volunteering, I had to pay for this because it was scuba diving, right?
Oh, right.
But I got an A-level marine science course out of it, unlimited scuba diving. I got my rescue diver diving course.
Yeah.
I got 3 meals a day. I got a place to sleep. And for about 4 months, I think it cost maybe $4,000.
Wow.
And that's because I was paying mainly for that course.
Right.
So if I wasn't doing the course, it would have been maybe half that price. And if you're working remotely, then you could think of it this way, is that like you're paying $2,000 to spend 4 months at a place to do unlimited scuba diving and to be fed and to sleep somewhere. And then you could work on top of that because you're not working constantly doing the volunteer work.
Where was
right?
this?
It's on an island called Pom Pom Island off of the coast of Borneo in Malaysia.
Wow.
With a scuba diving place called TRAC, so Tropical Research and Conservation Center. And they're great. The work they do is awesome. Prices probably have changed a little bit and with COVID going on.
Right.
Things are obviously not really, But that was a way that I enjoyed traveling in the past as well, and it's a cheap way.
What volunteering did you have to do there?
So a lot is like they teach you how to scuba dive, and then they teach you how to identify fish. And then a lot of the coral there was destroyed by bomb fishing. And so what you're doing is you're making artificial reefs.
Wow,
and then
interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah, and you're planting actual reefs, soft coral, hard coral, and you're seeing how well it's doing over the years. And they've been doing it over a decade now. And they've been tracking how much fish have come back, and that's why you're doing the fish ID, seeing how much biodiversity there is. And
that's so cool.
Yeah,
interesting.
So
Wow.
Yeah, so there's tons of opportunities like that around the world.
Yeah. How did you find that opportunity?
That was random. I was in Australia. Oh my God, 6 years ago already. Woo! About 6 years, 5-6 years ago, and I was ending my trip in Australia. And I was going to Malaysia, and I was like, hey, you know what? I want to give back. I want to do some type of volunteer work. And it'd be cool if it was something with scuba diving or just by the water, right? Because I love the ocean.
Uh-huh.
And I found this place. And so I only did it for 2 weeks at first. And I was like, I love it. I'm definitely going to come back. A year later, I came back for 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
great.
so there's a ton of opportunities for you guys that you can do just volunteering. And even if you spend a little bit of money, it can be very cheap compared to actually living in that country.
Of course.
Mine was obviously a little more expensive because I was taking a course, but for what I got, it was a very good price.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So really, no matter how much you're making at the moment, you can travel. Traveling is something that most people can do, and for some people it can be a little more difficult than for others, but it is something that you can do.
Yeah, it's 100%.
And we've hit the 0 mark while traveling.
100%, yeah.
And it can be difficult.
And it will happen to you.
Absolutely.
At some point, you're going to end up with 0 money, even though you came here with a lot of money, because we're all going to go have a good time and not care about what's in our wallet.
Yeah.
But what matters is that you do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't matter the country you're from. Doesn't matter if you're in a first world country, third world country. I moved to Australia personally with $500.
Yeah.
And I think if I would have moved there with $50,000, I would still have gotten to 0. And when you get to the point of 0, something inside you kicks in and you make it work.
No.
So
Absolutely.
If you can take anything from this, it's just that you're going to make it work no matter what. So don't hesitate. Don't doubt. Just do it. Go travel. And if you have $500, if you have $1,000, just do it, because at the end of the day, you're going to find someone that's going to help you. You're going to meet people, and it's going to put you in that uncomfortable zone that you will never be in unless you do that.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about this in my podcast.
All right, guys. So essentially, this video was a way to show you guys that traveling is possible, even if you're not making tons of money. If you're not entirely sure how you're going to be making your money abroad, there are ways to do it. There are ways of working there as an English teacher, or as I did in Australia and New Zealand, doing construction, landscaping, working on cruise ships. Or the best way of doing it, as we were talking about, is remotely online, finding some type of job that can make you income no matter where you are. And so this is what we're trying to do, is motivate and inspire you all to travel, if that's obviously your motivation, your goal. And so if you have any other questions or comments about what we went over today, please feel free to drop those down below. We would love to make videos about those in the future. Cristian,
Thanks,
dude,
bro.
his channel, absolutely amazing. Please check him out. We actually did an interview. You interviewed me.
Right, for my podcast.
Yeah. For another channel of his. He's got channels on channels. Like
Two channels.
Two channels. Well, podcasts, and like, so he's the social media king here. And please follow him, his podcast,
Thanks,
his channels. And with that being said, guys, like, please just tell us what you thought about this video, comments, questions down below, and we will cover those things in the future. And I will be going to Mexico soon. Voy a hablar en español y voy a hacer videos en español pronto. Nos vemos en México. Dale.
Bye.
Ciao, guys.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyways, just continue on. I forgot what I was gonna say something, bro. Fuck. I don't know. I think you're gonna say something.
And there's no problem with doing like that was that was close.
Oh, shit.